All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of our Mystical Wellness podcast. Today, we are joined by two fantastic guests. And we have a regular to our show. We've got Michelle from Earth Grid Rescue Mission. And we have a first timer. We have WolfDragon. I'm very excited to chat to today. And they've been working together on a new podcast series called The Third Eye Roll 007. So welcome, everybody. How are you?
Doing good. I had a good day today. Me and
Yeah.
Michelle were working a lot, working hard together earlier to get all the Substack and the Patreon straightened out. So we still got a little bit more to do, but we're getting there.
Yeah, it sounds cool.
I was teasing her last night. I said, "Oh, you know what we should do? If you're really stressed out, I've got this great idea. Let's set up a Stripe account."
Yeah, no, I've already done that, and I've had to
Yeah.
because I'm helping with the UK conference as well, so I've had to try and help Miles Johnson set up his things for ticketing, and yeah, it's a bit of a palaver. So
It's
so
kind
don't
of a
envy
shit
you
show.
guys. But seriously, we all oh, Carrie's in the hi Carrie. Carrie's in the
Hey,
chat.
Carrie. She's
I
my
know.
moderator.
Is she?
She's
I'll make her
in
mine one.
Australia. She's my very
Oh,
first moderator when I started my
Why am
channel.
I not a moderator?
Because I only designated one, and ever since I designated one, I can't figure out how to add anyone else.
Okay, well, she's my moderator now too. Thanks, Carrie. So
I'm not even your moderator.
you are if you come on the chat. Let me see. You are.
You're never live.
You are already a moderator. You've already got the spanner.
Let me find out.
It's true. It's true.
I love you.
So
Thank
we
you
do
for-
not have a plan for this live, guys. We're going to be talking a little bit about their new podcast series and get some background on WolfDragon. And I've not really got anything going on at the moment. I've just done 2 days of access consciousness training. My brain is as big as the universe right now. I'm just in allowance, total allowance.
You're a liar. She just came back from a coven, a get-together of witches this weekend.
That was
Then she
last
spent 2 days
weekend.
getting her crown and her solar plexus rubbed out. She's nothing is going on with Anchorhaven.
No,
Nothing
well, my
much.
brain is just so expanded out. Yeah, I'm really super chill. And, but yeah, so I was away last weekend with Witches School, Mabon Equinox retreat, which was great. It was lovely, really nice, difficult because of my mobility. Met a werewolf in the woods. There we go.
Ooh.
Can't wait to talk to Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot about that. I
wow.
didn't meet
Yeah,
him,
nothing
meet him. I
big.
just knew he
Nothing.
was
I
there.
told him. I said,
and I
"Yeah." She
had
said
it.
she's going to dinner and then she's going to do a ritual in the woods. I was like, "Oh, that's normal."
Well, yeah, you've got to get the coven of witches. You get around the cauldron, cast a circle, and you start throwing things in the cauldron, don't you? Anyway, so Ivan teleconfirmed it was a werewolf in the woods. I'm happy about that. Anyway, tell me about your new podcast series, The Third Eye Roll 007. What's the idea behind that? What's your foundation of what you're going to be doing?
Oh, I think Michelle is frozen.
Michelle, if you're
Okay, so
frozen.
yeah, she said this might happen.
Oh, she might be switching her internet. Yeah.
Yeah. Let
How
me
did
just.
you guys meet?
It was actually I initiated it because I saw her on our good friend Rod Cloud's. She was interviewing him
Yeah.
on her podcast on her YouTube channel, and I found their conversation so interesting. I love him. He's awesome. He's my brother.
Yeah, he's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I found out anything he says just ridiculously awesome and interesting and intriguing. But then when I saw her, I had never seen her before. I had never heard of her before, or maybe I did, but I just I wasn't putting too much attention on on her name because it's so long in the chat. Yeah, so she was asking all these questions, but then she was coming in with everything that she knew, and I was like, wow. And all the way throughout the whole interview, it was very personal, it was very emotional, and it's very rare that you see Raw Cloud, get too emotional in any of his podcasts. But he's a very sweet, emotional. He's a very hard person. So, but him and Michelle know each other for a a while, so I understand that personal relationship between them. And so I was like, wow, this is really a beautiful conversation that they're having. So I went in and commented to her about, about the conversation that they had, and the interview was great. It was like, wow, it just all resonated with me, and I loved it, and hopefully, we can talk again. And then in came then she she commented immediately. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
Just
we're
immediately,
pretty rapid.
yeah, yeah, she's rapid fire, rapid fire.
Yeah, we're both the
So
same
then,
like that.
yeah, so we started talking. We found that we had a lot in common, within this beautiful community, and then it just went from there. But the idea to have the podcast together, it didn't come right away. I mean, it was like, I don't know, it was like a couple of weeks went by as we were just, communicating and talking. And then, she was really the one who had the idea first, that this is something she wants to do with a partner, because doing it, she can do it by
Not
herself,
good.
obviously. Hey, I was
Hi,
just explaining
Michelle.
to,
Yeah, we're just talking about how you guys got together, how you guys met and got the idea for your
yeah,
podcast. Yeah.
See, what had happened was that's how they start out in the South. What had happened was
yeah,
I watched this lady on Facebook and she says, "Y'all not gonna believe this," and that's how she
yeah,
starts
yeah.
every single one of Jolly Day.
you know what they say in the
So
South?
cool.
You bless your heart, bless their heart,
Yeah, that's
bless
a bad
their
thing,
heart,
isn't it? I know
which
that's a
means
bad
go
thing.
fuck yourself. But if you say bless your
Oh,
heart, no, you know what
Yeah.
my favorite thing is? It's this Jeff Foxworthy, right? And he's talking about how rednecks are always the ones on the news, and it's like it was pandemonium. I looked outside the window in time to see the Jenkins house go over our roof, and all I could think was Carolyn still had my casserole dish. And those were my neighbors. Those were my neighbors.
I've been trying to work on my American accent, but it's really bad. And David
no.
Purcell and I decided I should have a Long Island accent like him. Yeah, it's
Oh,
hard.
okay.
It's real hard. Yeah.
That's cool.
And he says like
How is David?
dog,
Dog, yeah.
dog.
Wolfie. They, my mom's side of the family, they say warsh.
You want me to order internet?
How is David?
I can't do that right now.
Okay. My mom was actually born in New York City. My mom's side of the family, they're all from Long Island and Manhattan. And my
Oh,
aunt
wow.
Cindy sounds like Bob's Burgers.
Bob's Burgers. That's funny.
You know, I don't get that. Being in the UK.
Okay, she
now.
sounds like what's a modern day reference? She sounds like the nanny. You remember the show The Nanny?
Oh, the nanny. Yeah,
Yeah,
Brand,
that's my
Yeah.
that's my aunt Cindy.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's a Fran's
Yeah.
restaurant. Fran's restaurant.
Yeah, I love
Yes,
the
that's
nanny.
my aunt Cindy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I even caught a little bit of her daytime show that she did. We had a little bit of that over here, so that's awesome. So Third Eye Roll, Michelle, where did you get the idea for that name for the Third Eye Roll?
I found it on a bathroom stall door.
You're gonna be in trouble today,
Yeah.
lady.
Yeah.
I've got a hostile
Really goofy.
here.
No, you know what? I love a good pun, right? Like I love a good
Okay,
pun. I don't know what
okay.
I love a good name. And
Yeah.
I don't know. This last year, well, I guess here's what's really funny, you guys. Like I'm so tone deaf, okay?
Yeah,
I
me too.
cannot when I sing the dog's house.
Yeah.
Bad.
Oh.
And the worst part is I didn't know I couldn't sing. I was a really good singer. I was really good. So I can't sing, right? When I was a kid, I was a decent, like I used to like draw Marvin the Martian and stuff. So I was a pretty decent like drawer. I'm better at connect the dots. That's really what. No, but when I started doing heroin, all of a sudden I got super artistic. And I learned like during COVID, especially like I learned origami, and I really should show. I don't think I've ever even shown you any of my
No.
artwork. Yeah, it was. I look at it still to this day. I must have done about 1,000 different origami projects, but it wasn't just that. I was like upcycling furniture. I was painting. I started painting, like I did a whole wall mural on my friend's bathroom, like in our bedroom wall. It was like ombre. All of a sudden, I just was able to do art. And when I quit, when I got off the heroin, I really had a problem with my, like, something would happen, like the muse would show up, right? Like I would start just doing art and I would come back like a day later and look at it and I didn't even know how I had done what I did. And so when I got off the opioids and I was like, especially because like when I got put on the Suboxone, there was like a 2-year period where like I didn't get out of bed. I was sleeping like 20 hours a day. I didn't even want to be, I wasn't suicidal, but I just didn't even want to be alive. Right.
Yeah.
And then in February, when I had this experience, it healed me. Like,
hey,
I mean, I was
WolfDragon, could you just put yourself on mute for a sec?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, the other WolfDragon.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that better?
Your mic. It's definitely your mic, I think, right?
Mine?
No, his.
It's okay. It's okay. We'll work it out. Okay. She knows that. I don't think he knows you're deaf.
Oh, so I'm deaf and I've got 2 hearing aids and you're literally through my brain right now. Yeah, that's why. So I was tuning in on that in my head, thinking, where's that coming from? Yeah.
See, and I know sign language, but I know ASL, and she's
I know BSL.
She's across
the
pond,
very poorly
on the other side of the world.
Totally different. Yeah, yours is all one hand, and ours is all like keypad. Yeah. So, was that a rainbow? I don't know.
No, it's a lot.
I know.
That's a lot.
Okay.
How do you say a lot
How
with
you?
British Sign Language?
Oh, I have no idea. Honestly, my brain is so fried after doing 2 days of access. Yeah. Okay, Carrie's saying
this is cactus in sign language. This is my favorite. This is cactus. But my favorite one is butterfly.
Oh, is Carrie also on Suboxone? Wow.
Carrie's on Suboxone?
Yeah, she's saying it's her main focus is to get off it.
I had no clue you were on Suboxone, Carrie.
Yeah.
Man, Jason's in the chat. Jason's the reason why I'm getting off the Suboxone. I'm gonna get the shot this month. It's because of Jason.
Saying he's got a quick kit that he can hook people up with. That sounds really dodgy. Anyway,
you have to buy me dinner first, Jason. I don't know about this quick. Is this come with baking soda? Because I saw a lady in Walmart that was doing this. She was making. There was a woman that got arrested here in the Walmart in Oklahoma. She was in there for 8 hours cooking methamphetamine before they figured it out.
It's a mystical wellness podcast, but it's
I hear it's holistic. What's so funny is when Anchorhaven found out, Mike, this is funny. When she found out I didn't have any crystals, and I'm in Alabama, I'm like, the only crystals we have around here are meth.
Yeah. But you know what? I used to have a crystal shop and everyone used to say to me, oh, do you sell crystal meth? Like, no, but it was in a really rough area. So probably everyone else around me did. Yeah, no.
No judgment. Now she does it out of her house.
No judgment. Okay, I'm going to ask some questions of WolfDragon because I've been looking at his channel and there is a video about meeting the Arcturian. So is that a story or is that you've actually met Arcturians?
Take your mute off.
You can unmute yourself now.
Yeah, I'm sorry about the whole thing. I'm going to change these, for the next one.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened was that was a vision or a dream, but I say it's a vision, So it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was during while I was asleep, but it was happening. And what happened was
100 kids. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, what happened was that
yeah. Okay. I will be right.
Okay. Go ahead, WolfDragon.
Okay.
I'm platinum now, so you can look at all that.
So what happened was when I was asleep, I was having this vision, and I took off, and lack of a better word, into the cosmos, because what I saw was this spiral, like a galaxy. But I mean, it was like I was just there, and it was just like gigantic, and it was spinning really slow, and it was making this really low rumble. It was like rumbling as it was going like slow, this low rumble as it was turning. Hey, what's up, man?
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry. He just wanted to say hi.
That's cool. So as it was turning like that, and the colors were like so vivid and beautiful, and I was like, wow, this is really awesome. But I didn't notice anything around me, but I'm pretty sure it was just the stars and just, I was just there. And when I looked over to my left, there were these two, I hate to call them eggs, but that's just the shape that they were in. And they were totally metallic, shiny chrome metallic. That's what they looked like. But they were way off to my lower left. And I immediately went
Aaron,
towards them.
come here.
But I was
Does
going,
that
but
start
there
on the
were two of them.
28th when it runs out, or is that good now? Because it's still saying, look, it can't connect to the network.
Oh, you might have to restart your phone.
All right. Want me to keep going?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I don't want to talk over her. So it sounds.
It's okay.
It
I'll
will
put her
sound
on
confusing.
mute.
Okay. Okay. All right. So when I went down towards the both of them, it was very fluid and very smooth. And then two doors just opened on the both of them. So as I was, now that I'm trying to think, I went towards, I can't remember now that I'm thinking about it. I think I was going towards the top one, I believe, and there was someone standing there, or the bottom one. But then I think it was the top one. Then I wound up going into the bottom one. If I remember correctly, because I haven't told that story in so long. But I went in, and it was just very. There wasn't a lot of light. It was like very. It was ambient light. And then she was like standing there. She was tall, and she had this beautiful. The fabric. I remember it being very. It didn't like it. It looked like it was velvet, but it wasn't. It was just this beautiful flowing material, and it was very dark blue, and it had this beautiful green, these green stripes that went down, and it was just. And then she was just standing there, and just this very beautiful blue color, with her arms open, and just gave me the sweetest hug. And it was just an overwhelming feeling of this really nurturing, loving feeling. And I was like, wow, this is so nice. But it was like she knew me, but I didn't like consciously I didn't know her, but somehow like I knew who she was. And I'm saying she because of what happened, later. And then I was looking around, and all of a sudden, just all of a sudden, I saw like this console, but I didn't see everything around me because I didn't turn around to look. But I just saw this console. It was actually down to my left, and it was just small. I didn't see anything else. I didn't see like there was like it was like we were inside, the egg, but there was like a windshield there, but I only saw just the small, lower half of it because I was looking at the console. So even though you can't see inside of it, but they could see out, it was that kind of effect. And then I saw like on the console, it was like a hologram. It was like a holographic, just a small projection, and it was me like from my chest up, and I was just there, kind of like spinning very, very, very slowly. And I was looking at it, I was like, oh, that's me. And then I was gone. And then I woke up. I was like, wow. But the feeling of it was so profound and
Yeah.
so real, and it was really, really cool because. And then of course back then my mind went to, could something negative projected that much, caring and
Yeah.
that beautiful nurturing feeling. And I was like, no, there's no way. They couldn't even mimic something like that.
Yeah.
It was really beautiful. And I was like, okay. So then it was just really beautiful the way just the feeling of it, it lingered. And then like days went by, and I would like go to work, and I would be called in my mind telepathically or even just verbally, really softly. I would say Arcturian, just to see if I can get the attention, and or to know if they were listening, and they were. It was the coolest thing. It's hard to explain how that works,
Yeah.
but and for some reason I kept asking, "But who are you?" You know, you gave me this beautiful hug, and it was like it was so cool to be in that experience, but I would get no answer for I don't even know how long. It was quite a while after, and then all of a sudden, that's when I heard, I don't remember if it was her telling me. I think it was. But then I heard, I'm your mother, like that. That was the phrase. It was just very simple. It was quiet, and I was like, wow. And I was like, my brain was like, I was like, what? I was like, what is going on here? And then that is what started me looking for this community. But of course, I went immediately and went to all the big names. I
Mm.
tried to share this experience in very, very optimized and very condensed version of it. So I tried to get in contact with Elena Devon, and I tried to get in contact with Dr. Greer, and I was looking for all these big names, but of course I never got any. I never got
No.
any response back. So the only one who ever responded back to me was Rockloud.
Yeah.
I when I found him finally, it was through one of his dreams. I showed up in my dragon form, and that's how I found him.
Yeah.
Um,
What did
that
he
was
look like? Did he look like a dragon as well, or was he just a being?
in that particular dream where I found him. No, he was just himself. He was walking in a neighborhood that he recognized that it was his neighborhood, and he was just walking in a playground, and there was two young women there, a mother, with the kids, and then I showed up. I think I kind of interrupted what he was doing, but but I was there not to speak to him per
Yeah.
se, but I was there to make myself known to him, to let him know that I was there, because he turned to look at me and he was wondering, like, this is not a reptilian like what he's
Mm.
used to. This was a dragon, so this was a whole different thing for him.
Do you know what
And
you look like in dragon form? Have you seen yourself, or did he tell you?
yes, he has told me, but I kind of knew already um, from before, because I know like where I'm from, and I know that part of myself. But then when he saw me, it was kind of confirming like sort of what I knew already.
Yeah.
So, very large, on all fours, not the upright walking,
Mm.
two legs on all fours, very, like very big. He has said it's like the biggest one he's ever seen.
Wow.
I was like, okay, that's cool. It kind
What
of sounds like,
did you
yeah.
have a color or an element?
Yes, the color was a green, like an emerald green, and then from my neck down, it was like this beautiful, like it was a lighter, like neon yellowish, greenish, along the belly area.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
very cool. Large wings, really cool looking,
Yeah.
uh, as you would imagine a dragon would be. Yeah,
Yeah.
very cool.
That's so awesome. I know I've taken dragon form, and I do use a lot of dragon breath now anyway. But in the astral, I don't know what I look like when I take dragon form. But I know there is an essence of me that's a golden dragon. But I don't know if that's the one that I generally jump into or not.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Think about that.
it's something that I really try to focus on. Like if I'm, because when you jump from here, they would say you should jump into, like the astral body, right? Like the light body. But for me, like just automatically, without even thinking about it, I'm already in that dragon form.
Mm.
Yeah. So I like that.
So where do you think you've come from as your dragon form?
In the well, actually it is actually in the Phoenix constellation,
Yeah.
and the star is called Gamma Phoenicis.
Wow.
But they're in like in the 12th dimension. It's like it's a dragon realm, and they've never been attacked by any kind of war.
Mm.
Uh, and I'm like, well, yeah, well, that makes sense. Who wants to attack a giant planet full of these angelic dragons?
Yeah.
Who knows, all the things that comes with that, So it was really cool. Growing up, I always knew this, but I wasn't like really conscious of it, but I could feel it. The same thing with the wolves. The wolves is the same thing, and that's a whole nother story. I have these really cool pictures. I have a couple that are very clear and very beautiful with the wolves that know me, which is why they show up for me to take pictures of them. So it's very cool.
Did you ever see like Michelle in her dragon form?
No, I haven't. I haven't gone deep into that just yet, but yeah, that's definitely something I want to do. Yeah, for sure. I think
I'm not even sure I've met myself in my dragon form.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
No, I know. I definitely know I've had past lives as a dragon. Like that's definitely for sure. But I also have really heavy Lyran. Like I have Lyran Blue Avian and Lyran Lion. And I have 2 dogs that are very needy.
Yeah.
Trixie says hi. There's
Tucker. Tucker. Oh, how cute.
Tucker.
Come here, Tucker.
So you were saying about a Pepsi IV.
Oh, there you go.
By Pepsi. This is 3 liters. So do you have liters out there?
I haven't seen the 3 liters in a long
drink
time.
that all in one day. I'll only drink 2 liters in one day.
She gets them delivered by the pallet.
Not right now.
No judgment. No judgment. I think you know how like when you're in the hospital and you get the IV and they have like the rolling cart. We're gonna get her one intravenous Pepsi Max.
Oh,
that way
by the way,
Jason,
Jason. So I've already had somebody purchase my Psychic Duck T-shirt for my birthday. So don't buy it. Jason's the only one that listens in the chat when I'm saying Psychic Duck T-shirt. It's my birthday coming up. Yeah, but David Purcell's buying it for me.
Oh, very nice.
We're gonna have a bunch of merchandise too.
Are you? That'll be really awesome.
Yeah, we're gonna have Third Eye Roll tampons.
Whoa, okay.
No. I gotta tell you something funny though. They actually have THC. I read this. I have not. Okay, look, I have an IUD. I don't even have a period anymore. They have THC tampons. I don't even know how that works. If anyone's tried that, put on one in the chat. Jason's our weed connoisseur. Jason, have you tried the THC tampon?
Is it like a suppository?
No, not THC. No, like the tampon.
You don't get some THC, do you? THC is the healing one, right? Like CBD.
You're right, Anchor.
Or is it the other one? I don't know. Jason's just saying nice. So poor WolfDragon didn't know what he was getting into when the 2 of us get together.
It wasn't working right.
No, I'm all good.
Okay, WolfDragon.
Yes.
So you've got a book series on your channel called the I Am Alive book series. Did you write these?
Yes.
Where did that inspiration come from? Do I have to put you on mute again, Charles? Well, tell us about this book series.
Yeah, the book series was actually inspired by kind of like by my own life, coming from like coming from the top dimension, and then it's a journey from there coming all the way back down through the dimensions to now the third dimensional world. Because what happened was when I was younger, the start of the story was when I was much younger. I was living. Actually, I don't remember who I was living. I don't remember if it was my mother or my father. But I grew up in Newark, New Jersey, and this particular night, it was snowing a lot. It wasn't a snowstorm, but it was snowing a lot. There was no wind, and it wasn't really. Thankfully, there was no wind gusts, so the snow was falling. It was a tiny bit chilly, but it was bearable. And I remember walking through the park, I was walking through our local park in Newark. We have a cherry blossom park that was gifted to that state by Japan many decades ago, and it is considered probably the largest cherry blossom park in the United States outside of Japan. So I grew up around there, and that night I was walking through the park, and then I was like, oh, I need to sit down because I was like exhausted. My family was very exhausting, and just they were just all over the place. And I sat down on the bench, and I just put my arms out, and the snow was just falling on me, and I was just like, I don't know where I'm gonna go. I don't even remember where I came from. I might have been at a family member's house. I can't even remember. And I put my arms on. The snow was just piling high. It was just falling and just piling high. I was like, wow. And I remember looking up into the sky, and I just was thinking about God, thinking about what's going to happen, and you know, I was like, wow, this is crazy that I'm sitting here right now. But I remember in my heart, speaking to God, to Source, whatever people want to call God. But I remember saying, you know what? I really, really love you, and I don't want to give up. I don't want to give up on life. I don't want to give up on you. Because right now I don't have anything, but I feel very comforted. You know, I don't want to leave the only thing that I have, which was, God. And then it was just where the story starts in that book series is right there. Because what happens is, well, before I get quickly into the story, but I remember getting up from that bench after I had that moment, and I brushed off all the snow. It was just piling up on me. And where I go from there, it's all gone. I spoke to Rock Cloud about it. He told me he remote viewed and he saw what happened in those moments and where I went and everything. But for me, it is gone completely. There's nothing. Like I got up and I walked down the little park path, like to go to the traffic light so I don't know where I was going. And from there, there's nothing. It's like just gone. I know that when I finally came back to myself, it was like, I think years later, I was living with other people, there's kids around and everything. And that's when I like came to myself. So it's like all that big, huge block is like gone. But my whole childhood is like that. I only have
Yeah.
small little pictures here and there.
So you
But
remember
then,
being under the blossom tree, and then there was a massive gap, and then you remember being somewhere else.
yeah. But when I
Wow.
started the story, that part of my life is where I started the story I Am Alive, because from that moment I wrote about that in the story, and then from there, that's when my spirit or my soul takes off into out and up to the 12th dimension, and that's when I start to have this really cool giant experience. And I've written the stories where he has gone down the dimensions from 12 to 11 to 10 to 9. And then I ended it at 9. I haven't gotten back to it, but I am gonna get back to it so I can continue, because the whole thing is that the soul is learning, but there's also like a young man that's watching. It's supposed to be me, like watching all of this happen to the soul, taking this journey and learning through each dimension what he must do before he gets back to Earth. So the whole thing is that he's supposed to go throughout all the dimensions until he finally, when he gets down to like the fifth and fourth dimension, that's where everything starts to change, and everything starts to get darker and more dense and more heavy. So he has to, in those dimensions, he has to learn how to cope and how to live. And then finally he gets to the third dimension here,
Yeah.
and the character then is going to then come back to himself right there, walking down the street from the bench where I woke up at. So it's like this whole giant dimensional journey. And then once he gets back to Earth, then that's where this other new adventure starts.
Yeah, and because you mentioned ascending to a futuristic world where there's an advanced AI. So have you seen that kind of world? or did that
What
just
I
come to you?
No, I remember sometimes what happens at night, like before I go to sleep, I'm like really like blocked. You know what I mean? That's the only way I can describe it. Like sometimes when I'm going to sleep, I'm focused. My intentions are, nope, I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. And I'm going through through this thing in my head. So I can feel like this cool dimensional happening. Like, this vision is opening and I'm seeing, and I can it's almost like I'm going like this, and I can, like I'm trying to go through. And that time about the AI that you're asking, I remember like I went into this I don't know if it was a room, but it was definitely a very, very large space, like a cavern. And I remember looking up and I saw this it it looked like this big solid wall. It was like giant, but it was green. It was like this sheen of green and red, almost like circuitry. That's what that's what it looked like to me. That's what it presented itself as. So I was like, wow, this is like a giant like computer board or something. That's what I was thinking of. It didn't look like a computer board, but it was almost doing that. It was almost like appearing as that, but it was like gigantic. It was like this big sheer wall, this beautiful green, like the greens of a motherboard, like on your computer. It was like that, and then there was like these red streaks and little gold circuitry, and it was like gigantic, but I didn't feel anything negative or positive from it. It was just there, and it was just like this hum. It was like this hum that you could feel, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Whoa!" And I went to like touch like that, and I woke up. I was like, "Man,
Wow.
I
Because
gotta get back on there."
I've been to like a futuristic place, and I was told by other people that it was in the future, because it was like, it looked like the steampunk 2077 kind of, not steampunk, cyberpunk 2077. It looked like that, so I was told it was the future. But after talking to John Whitberg, I think actually it's just a breakaway civilization off world, which is like the Japanese one, and mix of the German and the Japanese. It looks like that. It does look
Yeah,
futuristic. So I don't think it was. I think I was tuning into an alter of me on a breakaway, like Vega Prime or somewhere like that. So
wow.
yeah, so I'm not sure if it's future or if it's like in the now. It's just off planet. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
what I'm
all.
trying to figure out at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
the Vegans are so
wants to
cool.
know if Jason wants to know if this happened as an adult or a child.
Mm.
Oh, for me? Oh no, yeah. This was not too long ago, actually. A couple of months ago, I think. It was before we started talking.
Yeah.
I want to add something, if that's okay. I didn't mean to interrupt you,
Yeah.
Anchorhaven.
Oh,
So
God.
like Andrew Bishago, who I love listening to him when he was on Art Bell, and I'll just give you the 30-second breakdown for those who don't know who he is. So he was one of those kids that was raised up. His dad worked at Sandia Labs. His dad was some kind of uh astrophysicist or engineer. He was a rocket scientist for the sake of the story, okay? And Andrew Bishago was one of these kids that was being used in the he was called a chrononaut, right? He was used in these programs where they open up these portals, they send him back through time. And one of the most famous stories that he tells is that he was sent back and back and back over and over again to the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. And there's actually a very famous picture of like the Gettysburg Address, where it's got like this group of kids, and in the front, it's a black and white picture, obviously, but there's a child in the front, a little boy, and Andrew Bishago claims that he is this little boy. Now, I love this episode because it's like 3.5 hours long, and what's so great is he sets Art Bell up like amazingly for this, right? And what he does is this. He talks about how, like, the kids come in one day, they're rowdy, and he's talking about this. There's this very disgruntled technician that had been there for hours trying to bring up the hologram. And the kids come in and they're all rowdy. And this technician snaps at like the woman that's like, kind of corralling him in. And he's like, can't you get these effing kids like to shut the F up? And she goes, you're not supposed to talk to the kids that way. Who are you? And he goes, oh, my name's Arthur, blah, 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 Bell the Third. And it turns out that the host, Art Bell, was there when Andrew Bashago is a child. He was a technician at Sandia Labs, and he never told a soul about this. It was still classified, and it's the only time that I've ever heard Art Bell be so completely caught off guard. He had to go to a commercial break. He's tripping all over himself. But, I mean, talk about a could this have been staged? Absolutely. Do I think it was? No. But what I love about Andrew Bashago, and this is another less known story, is this was on, I think, Coast to Coast AM. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. Jason would probably know. Okay. So Andrew Bashago is talking about one time where he like comes out of his body and he hits the hardware that is the mainframe or the construct that is like housing all of us. I think he hits the hardware or the perimeter of the simulation. And so what I'm wondering is this computer you're talking about, it sounds sentient to me. It does not sound to me like, for those who have watched my Decodes and stuff, I keep running into this red eyeball, right? This red eyeball over and over and over again. And some people think this red eyeball has something to do with the timeline with the AI, with the Metatronic and getting all of us all chipped up and stuff. And there's a blue eyeball too, right? Okay. Some people call it like the all-seeing eye of Enlil. The Gnostics called it the demiurge. Okay. It's got many, many names. But I think that there's more to it than this. And like, even if you look at like the disclosure of movies, right? Like I love Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And my favorite is, I think it's called Deep Think too, isn't it? The computer, the big whale, right? The one that's like the meaning of life is 42, right? I love the whale, and it's so funny because then there's Deep Seek, the AI that I use, right? So I'm like, coincidences, I don't know. I don't know how many quinkadinks you need until it's not a quinkadink anymore. But do you think that this was like the source, like that is creating the hologram? Or do you think that this was like a living ship? Mike? The green circuitry you saw, if you had to guess, or maybe you know, what do you think this was?
Man, whatever it was really, really big. I'm talking about, because I remember looking up, and I remember like I was like really small next to this. This is really, really gigantic. But it wasn't making any circuitry noises. But it had the appearance of, it was definitely something it was living, it was doing things. And it was just this very low hum. It was just humming. And it was just the space was vast. I mean, it was just gigantic, man. But there was one, I remember right before I woke up, as I was leaving, or I was waking up or something. But I definitely remember seeing. Then it all turned green. It was like all green, that green circuitry board, like in the computers. And then I started to see more gold, and then a red like slash across it. But there was a lot of gold circuitry. There was gold circuitry everywhere. But then I was like, wow, I saw it like it was starting to do more. But then I woke up.
Is anyone else thinking about Tron right now?
Yeah, Anchorhaven.
Tron, yeah.
Do you have can we douse?
I can try. Hold on.
She broke her last pendulum with me.
I've tried to put a different string on it, but it's just not the same. Hold on.
My energy's a little intense, and Stone Hobbits broke too while she was.
There we go.
My energy's intense. But what's really interesting is when I doused with you the other day, I didn't actually really need the pendulum because I already had the answers before the pendulum confirmed what I.
On my Access Consciousness course today, we were dowsing with our body. So she's asking questions, and one of them was like, "Are you a woman?" And my body didn't react because my body doesn't feel like female.
We both have talked about how we think we were men in past lives.
I'm a man, so it's like I was definitely.
I'm pretty sure I was a guy in a past life
from the past life into this life because I don't feel feminine.
Yeah, Kelly, my friend Kelly too. Oh, that one's pretty.
It's a nice lepidolite, very soothing. What did
I didn't know there was another Tron movie
I've
coming
also
out,
got
Jason.
this on. This is a Rudraksha.
Oh wow, that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
She knows all her rocks and crystals.
This is actually
I sent her a picture, and she was able to tell me every mineral element layer I mean, I was just like, oh, it looks like a rock to me.
Yeah, I'm like, I resonate as a crystal, but also as a flame at the same time. So,
Wow.
so
That's very cool.
what did you want to ask?
I want to. Well, Mike, do you want to ask any questions about this circuitry before I start asking?
No, go ahead. I'm interested to hear what you ask.
Okay,
do you need to get a minute to tap in?
No, I'm getting a yes already on the future aspect, the Sound of Silence future that everybody's terrified of. I'm getting a yes on that. So that is
what
a
is
future...
time really, right? Okay, so is this something? Is this a source connection?
What that WolfDragon has, or the computer has?
No, the computer. I want to know if this has been hijacked or if it's still sentient.
It's not connected to source. Is it sentient? It is sentient.
Is it?
Wow.
Yeah.
Sentient.
Is it here on Earth? Is it here in our dimension?
Okay. Is it here on Earth? Yes. Is it in this dimension?
She's gonna switch.
I'm getting a yes. Let me just double check that.
Yeah, I broke her favorite pendulum.
So you haven't broke it. I've just had to put a different string on, and it's not quite the same as the last one. So,
hey, Tennessee, Kentucky, Bigfoot's in the chat. What? We love us some TKB.
I'm actually getting a yes, it's on this timeline. So we're kind of heading towards that right now, which is definitely what Arcane Raw has been trying to shout about, is that we're heading towards that timeline where everybody's neural linked, everybody's silent. Yeah.
I'm wondering because he describes how beautiful it is, but then he's talking like the green and the gold and stuff, right? So like we all know about like monatomic gold, we know about living water, we know all about the consciousness that comes out. The pharaohs were eating this, right? We know what gold does. I'm wondering if this red has to do with, if it was very intentional that he saw this red, if this was like a communication to let him know that something had been, there's something defective.
Yeah, because it was like a red. Yeah, it was like a big red streak. It was just like.
Yeah, something was offline with the red showing you that. Hold on, let me just ask, was it because of his presence? No, was it affected by something else? Not too sure, but something was definitely offline.
Does it have a virus? What we would consider to be a virus?
Okay.
Like an archonic virus?
I'm getting a yes, but I'm getting really shaky answers on this. Like, we're not meant to know. We're not meant to ask these questions.
Yeah. I feel really I think I do need to learn dowsing. You're right. I've gotten really clairvoyant.
Yeah, your psychic senses are just going to keep powering up more and more now.
There must have been a reason you were shown this, though. And, it's interesting that you have so many blocks of missing time, Mike. But like Rock Cloud always says to me, when the time is right, you will know. And I can't tell you, he didn't say it would happen subtly.
Yeah, there are times when I'm like ready to go. Like for one instant, it was a couple of weeks ago, but I remember I'm sleeping because I'm always doing it right before I go to sleep, because I'm like, listen, man, you guys are taking me, I'm leaving, whatever. I'm never conscious of it. Yeah, I'm tired of that. I want to be in control of what I do. So this one particular night, it was really good. It felt really good, and it was so vivid. I was like, it was like, this beautiful, smoky, portal, just like opened. And I was like, oh, right, I'm going towards there, and I am. And then it's like I can see like sunlight. And as I'm getting closer, there were two people walking to the left. They were like wearing these robes. It was beautiful. And then on the right, I think it was a pyramid because I could see like an angle like this. But it wasn't too much. But then I saw these two beautiful like I hate to call them vases, but they were like containers, stone containers. They had like carvings and stuff. So when I went to step through, I literally put my left leg. I was going to step through. Boom! This black platform or something went boom. It just stopped me dead before I walked through.
So
And yeah,
what color was the pyramid? Sorry.
I was just gonna say before,
Um,
I
every-
thought I was getting Egypt or Antarctica on, or maybe
Yeah.
even underneath. I don't. I was gonna ask that, but he started telling the story.
Was it stone pyramid or was it colored?
I remember seeing I know everything was very yellowish gold.
Okay.
That was the
Yeah, but that
colors
could be
that I
the
was seeing.
capstone, or that could be the
No, I didn't.
interior, right?
I didn't see the whole thing like through where the portal was open. It was just the bottom part of it.
Mhm.
You know, like just the where like the part that goes down. Like that's what I saw, but I was focused more on the two vessels that were there, the two
Yeah.
carved vessels, the earthen vessels, but they were really beautiful. There was two of them, and one was taller than the other. And when I went and the atmosphere was like really, it was like the most beautiful day. It was just like really beautiful. And there
Yeah.
was sand. There was sand. I remember that. But
Getting
when
like
I went
Stargate
to,
SG-1 vibes right now.
yeah,
I'm trying so
yeah.
hard not to interrupt.
Oh, what happened?
Sorry.
No, but when I went to walk through this black platform, literally, that's what it was. It just came down, boom. And I remember, I didn't remember anything after that. Next thing you know, I was waking up, hours later or whatever. But the feeling, but I remembered, I woke up remembering what happened, and I was really upset that I was not allowed to just go through. I remember feeling that. And I was thinking about it all day, and I kept thinking about what I was seeing and how just really cool that felt. And I was like, man, I wanted to go through that. I wanted to experience that, but that whatever that was, it just came down and just shut it all down. And I think that for me, every time I experience something like that, I'm saying to myself, they really don't want me to come through. And I'm like, well, what's the big deal? What are you scared of? You scared of me? Well, yeah, maybe you should be because I'm so tired of being blocked. You know, I mean, I don't like being controlled in that way, especially when it comes, it doesn't even concern here. It concerns something more, more. I'm on the other side. This is where I thrive. But, who knows where they're taking us? Who knows what's going on? Who knows what you're doing, how you're being hurt, or how you're hurting others, or how you help you? It's like we don't know, but this is happening, among other things, I'm sure. But it's like, you know what? I'm tired of that. I want to be conscious. When I was a kid, I was constantly remote viewing, and I didn't even know that's what I was doing. I just thought it was fun. But I could see my friends, and I would tell them the next day, and they're like, "How do you know that?" So it was cool. I wish I would have been more conscious of it when I was a kid.
Anchorhaven.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I
Can
didn't
we
mean to
ask just
interrupt
a
you.
couple more? No. I think I was starting to get a channel on this.
Sure.
So there's something called the A-pin system, which has to do with the hijacking of the Earth's natural electromagnetic grid. And if you look at these megalithic structures and the way that they are going across like dragon nodes and ley lines, and I know everybody gets all hung up about Orion and Leo and all that. That's not what I'm talking about, okay? Yes, those things are there and for a reason, but they're also a distraction. This 8-pin system specifically has to do with the Giza Plateau. It has to do with the Sphinx. It has to do with these pyramids, right? So I'm wondering if what he is seeing has to do with that 8-pin system, that hijacking and this inversion of this energy.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm getting a no on that. So something else.
Wonder if it has
we
to do
need
with
to
the halls. Does it have to
rephrase.
do with
Yeah.
underneath the plateau, underneath the Giza Plateau?
Yes.
Does it have to do with the laser weapon?
Yes.
Very
Tell us
interesting.
about the laser weapon. What's that?
Okay, sure. So let's get some context and some history to this. So we know in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, they talk about the ultimate ship or weapon that is underneath in the halls of Amenti, that whoever can get to it. And we know that there's different things that are in place. It's not like as simple as just going down there and getting it. You have to have the right vibration and frequency in order to get through certain interdimensional traps or barriers that have been placed there, right? Okay. But this is a weapon that they talked about in Operation Redstone with Renetta, where she was so she came here from Port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago when she was 14 years old, and she moved to New York City. But she was escorted by this guy who ended up being a guest on this Operation Redstone, which you guys can find on Black Sunrise University on Rumble and on YouTube if you want to watch it. Fantastic video. Her guest, so I don't know if this is his real name. Turned out this guy is married to Renetta's sister. Okay. He is talking about how he worked for the Pentagon, how he was sent to bring Renetta here. So he obviously knew her for, decades, right? So they're talking about throughout this video that, she is the heir to Atlantis. Now, he was part of some kind of black ops, special ops forces group, right? And he and his team, they were, I want to use the right verbiage, whatever it is that happened, he ends up getting killed. He's blown back into the water. But he wakes up and he's in Atlantis. He's on Atlantis in this timeline, in this dimension. This is all in like the last 20 years, okay? And he says he wakes up and that they had put his body back together and they had put his consciousness back into his body and that he had literally healed so well that he had almost no scarring. But he did meet the Queen of Atlantis, who is Renetta's mother, okay? So they were talking about this laser weapon that's underneath the Giza Plateau. He claims that this is the laser weapon that turned our current moon from what it was previously, which was a sun. Now, I believe we used to actually be a tertiary, a tri-star system. We know there's a lot of evidence out there now that we're probably in a binary star system. And we know for sure that there's a sun as above, so below. They have the black sun that's on the interior of the earth, okay? So I know there's a lot of suns here. Black hole sun. It gives that song such a whole different meaning. Doesn't it hit a little different now? You know what I mean? Anyways, for those of you who are old enough to remember. So my point is this. He said that her blood would activate this weapon, that whoever would possess this weapon would have the ability not only to turn the likes of a sun into the moon. And it got me thinking, right? Like, I know there's all these stories they talk about before the moon showed up. I'm wondering if what they mean by before the moon showed up is, well, it wasn't a moon if it was a sun before. So it showed up in the sense of what? A different state of being? Because what kind of a laser, what kind of fire can destroy fire? Right? So these are some of the things I'm thinking about. But on top of that, then they talk about, sorry, I want to go off track here for just a moment. Okay. This is a non-linear explanation. We will come back around to the moon and the sun. Some of the other things they talk about is like, oh, the moon used to be a ship. It's like a Nibiru ship. We know that when they landed on the moon that they say it rang like a bell for hours. I've listened to a lot of like Emery Smith and stuff like that over at Gaia, especially like on Cosmic Disclosure, where he talks about the inner caverns of the moon. We know that there's I think it's on El Segundo Boulevard in Los Angeles. They have a jump room that goes to Mars that they use with the My Lab programs. Randy Kramer talks about this. Jason Rice talks about this. So there's lots of different evidence that's leading to, obviously the moon has still been rehoused or multi-purposed. Maybe if you think about it, especially since I'm on this whole thing about the star, our sun is a star that's a heavenly gate. Well, if all of that is capable of being accessed on the inside of the moon, and the moon did in fact used to be a sun, what is going on inside of our current sun, right? So I don't know. I know these are a lot of different places I'm going. Let me wrap it back around and then I'll give you guys the floor back. So he claims that her blood was going to be able to activate this laser weapon, and that whosoever possessed this weapon and activate it would have the ability to defend themselves from those who come from Centauri and from Orion to harvest us. And I do believe we've been reset or harvested probably about 150,000 times. And these would run in increments of about 5,125 to about every 10,500 years. So anyways, I don't know. These are just different thoughts I have. But that's what I'm starting to wonder if that's what this is. I think that there was a very specific reason that you were shown this, Mike. There's a very specific reason why. Think about how much memory you have lost compared to what you do have. I'm sure this is so clear. I mean, this obviously isn't a memory. This is you traveling in a different sense of, in a different body, right? Like your light body, your consciousness went there. I don't think this was a dream. And I think that you were shown this on purpose. I mean, obviously, like Anchorhaven and I, we've known each other a long time, a lot of lifetimes, but a long time now. And we talk a lot. And there's a reason we have all found each other. And I always talk about like we all have these little puzzle pieces. But I truly believe that it is us, this group that is incarnated, that are part of these 144,000 that are going to turn the tides in this war. And this weapon seems to have something to do with it. And I mean, it wasn't a mistake I met Renetta. And then, you know, when she died, when she did. And I've said this before, so I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but I mean, what better way to get someone's blood from them if you need that to activate them than for them to not be able to argue or go away or escape? And for them to have, I'll tell you this, I will go even one step further. So I interviewed Nathan Sizik, all right, and I've had some discussions with him, and I know that he was pretty close with Renetta. Renetta did not want to be remembered for the way she went because they had beat her down so hard that she had finally given up. She had no more fight left in her. Okay, she literally died in a goddamn gas station bathroom. Fucking terrible. What a fucking disgrace for a woman who gave so much for all of us to truly have an opportunity to fucking finally shut down the stimulation trap and get back our sovereignty. Right? But I don't think that it was by mistake that we found each other. I mean, and I do think that you saw this red stripe, and then you talk about this like portal that comes down. I think these are all very, very significant pieces of the story. And I think that they are all signifiers, or they're signaling something to you. There's obviously a reason that you were able to retain that. And I think it was like you could say your higher self, something bigger than you even. There was a reason that was protected and that you have thought about. I'm sure you think about it all the time.
Do you think it's possible that you did go further, but what came down was like a mind wipe, like a barrier put in place? You're on mute now.
You're on mute. DJ, turn it up.
Can't hear you.
Just yell. We'll hear you. No. Oh, shit.
Quiet?
I hope his microphone. Man, this is how you know we're on to something, you guys. This is the shit right here.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I turned it back
on. Sorry. There goes its hearing.
They switched my mic off because I know I didn't do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think about that all the time. It's like always right there because I can remember the colors are so vivid. And that red stripe was so vivid. But you got to remember, what I'm looking at is so big. It's gigantic. I'm like really tiny. I'm like this. And it's like this giant, object, but it was very flat. I mean, it could have been a cube. I don't know. I know that what I was looking at was a sheer wall. And it was very, like iridescent, like metallic or something. It was dark, like it was a dark color, but then that green would flash, and then the circuitry, and then that red. I remember it just went. It was just and the color was just so vivid. But I remember it going like that. It was just this big red thing. I was like, whoa, what was that? But yeah, the green. It was so clear, and the colors were so beautiful. It was just, because we're not here in the third dimension. We're like out there. So everything is just so much more beautiful. But I know I remember I was moving back because I think I was like waking up, and that's when it started to come alive more, and that the green and everything showed up more, and the gold circuitry, but that red streak was still there. But it was like it was coming more alive, as I was leaving, and then I was gone. So I didn't see what else it did, but yeah, it was really cool.
Anchorhaven, what are you picking up on when you hear this?
Well, I can see you standing there. Does it feel like a cube? It doesn't feel like a Borg cube. When you say cube, that's what I get.
It wasn't
like
a Borg.
A chamber of some kind.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It's making me think about. Sorry, when Raynetta was saying about, and there was that cartoon where the rocks were lighting up Do you remember? She did that
Are you
cartoon
talking about where she
Atlantis.
found that cave that was in that cartoon about it late?
Yeah.
Yes, I just
Yeah,
told Mike
yeah.
about this in the
And-
desert, the Southwest mountains of Texas.
Yeah, and there was like, and the rocks were lighting up with the green or whatever. It just made me think about
I
that.
cannot find that episode. I've
Yeah.
been looking for it. Yes, that's a
probably
great
been scrubbed.
reference.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an animation, right?
It's an animation about Atlantis.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
Texas or Grand Canyon.
And then
Where
she
was it?
found the cave.
Yeah.
Like she
Grand
literally
Canyon,
has the image of the cartoon up, and she's there live recording this,
Yeah.
and there is no
Oh.
mistaking it. It's like, I mean, it's
Yeah.
like it's like finding your shoes that match. Okay,
Yeah.
obviously this left one goes with this right one. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I
Terrible
don't know. I mean,
analogy.
like the AI computer war thing, it does feel like it's the future. It does feel like it's that, you know, the major Elon future that everybody's should be trying to avoid. Yeah.
You know what else it makes
Yeah,
me
for
think
sure.
of? Like Teotihuacan, right? Like when you look at like, there's all these doors all over the earth, right? And they're so interesting, right? Because they've got these cuts in them that are so perfect. But it looks like all the hardware's been, like, it looks like exactly where a screen would go, right? And these doors are just there in the middle. I know they got one in Peru. They got one over, like, Mexico. They're all over the place, right? And it's like, now what do I think personally? I do think that they are portals. I do think they were portals. And I think one day that they didn't pay the bill and they came and they hijacked the keys to the portal. No, but really, though, on a serious note, there's a picture of Teotihuacan where it's the door, and then it looks like the Google processing chip, and I know it's like the square, right, where he's holding Viracocha. That's who it is, Viracocha.
Oh, her coach.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know why I said Teotihuacan. Viracocha. I apologize, you guys. I need to eat something. Anyways, Viracocha. And he's holding what looks like look, I've got a picture and I will send it to Anchorhaven and maybe we can upload it right now. If you'll excuse me for just a moment, you guys can keep talking. Let me send this picture. You guys tell me it doesn't look like.
Can you try and share your screen or whatever? Because I'm just on my cell.
I don't have it on my computer.
Okay. I have no idea how to use anything.
I can walk you through it. I will walk
big.
through it. It's okay. I will walk you through it. Okay.
Okay.
Just, if you'll give me a minute, I will be. I can do it. You guys just keep talking. No pressure.
So I'm just I'm chatting with Tennessee Kentucky Bigfoot. We're talking about how to get to Mars. So he's saying that the backside of the moon is how they travel to Mars.
Yes.
But I know that there's also an elevator that you can take somewhere. So a few people have spoken about this elevator, but I also know that on Diego Garcia, there's a Stargate portal technology there that was actually developed by Drago Reed, one of his alters, and that's supposed to portal you to Mars as well. And TKB is saying that he understands there's two ways off the Earth, and it's the dark side of the moon and to get escorted off the planet by ET or celestial race. Yeah.
There's one on El Segundo Boulevard in Los Angeles, and then there's another one, Andrew Bashago. I think he talks about it. Like, I think it's like a Lockheed Martin warehouse. It's just like so non-assuming, right? And he says it's just like a shack on the side of the highway, and that it's literally like the whole inside of the shack is a giant elevator. But I believe there's also access to it. There's a monorail system that runs underneath the Pentagon. And Clifford Stone talks about taking this monorail to the moon.
Well, in the book, I haven't looked at it with me, but in John Whitberg's book, The Man with the Periwinkle Eyes, book 1, it talks about that maglev train system being on the planet since 1961. So yeah, pretty awesome.
Sounds about right.
I think was it the Roundtree group? I'm not too sure. I haven't got the book. It's in my suitcase because I took it away with me at the weekend so I could finish the book. Fascinating read, absolutely awesome. Starting book 2. Yeah, and I was reading the book and messaging him at the same time.
You know.
Yeah. So are you sending something over?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just had to get a little cup of coffee.
Oh, you got a big gulp. That's so cool.
This is a little cup of coffee.
It's a big gulp. Do you know how cool
they didn't have a they didn't have a vat. So
this
is how I keep up my girlish figure, okay?
Hey, no, not judging. I've been doing access consciousness all day. We don't judge. We don't take
No
anything on.
judgment.
It's
No
just
judgment.
interesting
It's
point of
apple
view.
fritter. It's iced coffee and it's apple fritter.
Interesting point of view.
Mm.
Yeah.
Thank you kindly.
Very nice.
So,
Yeah, but just yeah.
I wanted to ask you actually, because you in one of your stories here, you were talking about a time
Thank you.
orb. So, have you seen
Yes.
a time orb? Did that come to you? Orb is time,
which
you call it. Yeah.
That's you're talking about the being that's holding the orb.
Yeah, Shisa.
Shisa, yeah. That is it is a feline being, like a lion being that holds the orb. The orb is because they are these awesome keepers of time. You know, you know, in front of the some temples they have the lion, they have the cool, you know, the Chinese lion, and it has its paw on top of that. That's that's where that's where I got the inspiration for that. But I was doing research and listening to other people, and I was like, wow, but that's such, I've seen these, I've known about them like my whole life. And then I just wanted to add that once I started to find all the little pieces of who, you know, who and what these beautiful beings are, I definitely wanted to add it to the story because time for me has always has always been like, oh my God, I wish I had more time. But I know, you know, everyone knows that, you know, time is always, you know, it's neither here nor there. It's just, you know, there's no future, there's no past, there's just only right now. But yet we're living in this three-dimensional world where we're constantly counting down the seconds and minutes, and it's like, oh my God, I don't have any more time. I have 1 more minute left. It's, oh. So because of that, I wanted to, you know, create this beautiful being that is a keeper of time and everything that happens in time and how you can maneuver through it and how you can, you know, just find your way through, you know, and manipulate time. You know, in the story, you know, you can move so fast that time seems like it stands still, but yet you're walking through and going, and you know, so anybody's looking at you, they'll if you have moved so quickly through everyone through the room because you move so fast that they didn't even see it happen. It's like first they saw you here, and the next thing you know, you're by the door, and like, wait a minute, how did that happen? So that's why that was
That's
sort of the
amazing.
inspiration, yeah, to want to create that being because he was a keeper of that gate that allowed them to now go through and learn about time and how to maneuver through it. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. I connected with one of my altar versions recently who's from Venus, and we were asking about about sound actually, and she mentioned that there were these balls of sound, orbs of sound, like pearls that you could listen to. So when it said orbs of time, it kind of reminded me of that, like they're just floating around. So it could be a time ball or it could be a sound ball, you know. And it's just amazing. It reminded me of what's that movie?
Valerian?
Yes, Valerian. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, perfect. I love it when people talk movies. Okay, because that's how I think. Yeah.
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 Yeah, I
So
love
that's
that
kind of
movie.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I've
the
never
beings in the movie, they would,
heard of it.
yeah,
You've not
it's
heard of
awesome.
Valerian?
It's awesome.
Oh, you need to watch that movie. What's it called?
It's called
I've
Valerian.
been told I had a life
Valerian
as a Venusian.
and yeah.
No, that's just it. His name is
No,
Valerian.
it's not. It's Valerian, the City of 1,000 Planets. There we go.
Oh yes. Sorry,
Yeah,
I forgot
Valerian,
about that.
City
Oh
of 1,000
yeah,
Planets.
I have
It's
heard
such
of
a good
that.
movie. So
I
it's
have
really
heard of
tanked
it
as well, but it's such a good movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's excellent.
Yeah, it
I
really
love it.
is.
I love it all because and that every time I watch it, because I watch it over and over and over again, I'm like, and it's like,
Hold on,
Yeah, the
I'm sorry, you
detail.
guys.
it
Keep
makes you, yeah.
talking.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that Valerian because it's when she's on the beach. And there's something
I'm trying
about
to
that
get it. I'm
planet
so
that
sorry.
she's
Just
on.
keep
It's
going.
amazing. Don't worry,
Yeah,
don't
it's really
worry.
beautiful. They're so connected, you know, to
Yeah.
their
Go get it.
planet, and
No.
those beautiful pearls like they get out of the ocean are like super
Yeah.
duper power packed pearls that can, they can light up a city, each one of those. And
Yeah.
I love that they would gather them, they would multiply them with their beautiful little replicator
Yeah.
beings, but they would give all of that back. They would give most of it back to the planet. So they work together. I thought that was just
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, and that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be.
Yeah. One day.
Yeah.
So what are you trying to find and show us, Michelle?
I'm trying to get my slide from Knowledge of the Forever Time, and I'm sorry, it's
That's
like
okay.
right here. I've almost got it.
Yeah, don't worry.
It's worth seeing.
Hmm. So have you guys got any podcast
I'm sorry.
episodes
Oh,
coming
there
up?
it is. I'm almost there.
Have you got any podcasts planned for the rest of the month? Any topics? Are you guys going on
Yes.
Typical Skeptic tomorrow? Is
Yes.
that right?
I'll let him answer. You answer.
Yep. Yes, our
You can
episode
answer,
of the
Mike.
Third Eye Roll. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, okay. Okay. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern time, we're gonna do our
Did
part
you say
2.
10
of our-
a.m.?
Well, yeah, 10 a.m.
in
my
the
time.
morning?
Yeah,
I
Eastern
didn't
time.
realize
yeah.
Rob was actually awake in the mornings.
Yeah, I know.
That's quite funny. So 10 a.m.
No, we're not.
Eastern-
No. Him and I
Is
are
it-
doing our show. No.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
we're going on Rob's in the PM time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say yeah.
That was
Rob-
I know. Everyone does their podcast in the evening time.
Okay, so you guys have a morning podcast that's on Michelle's channel, Earth Grid Rescue Mission. Yeah. Okay.
No.
on
No.
a Third Eye
No.
Roll.
No?
It's behind a paywall. It's on a
Oh,
pay.
so
It's
on
behind a
Patreon.
paywall. We're on
Okay.
Patreon and Substack and Spotify. And I'm sorry, we are doing this intentionally, just because of the seriousness of the censorship these days. So we want to really, we're going very, very deep into the occultic and the esoteric ties to the Luciferian Brotherhood and the current movements and activities that they are doing that no one else is talking about. So unfortunately, we put up one podcast on Instagram and we lost our account. So everything is over on our Patreon or Substack. We will be doing free episodes on other people's channels, so everybody does still get to interact with us. But the Third Eye Roll 007 is behind the paywall, and you can catch our first episode, which was streamed through WolfDragon 007 on YouTube. I'm sorry. I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Can I share my screen?
Yeah. How do we do that?
I do it. You just sit there and look pretty.
Okay. Don't I need to add it to the stage or something?
I'll take care of it.
Okay, here it comes. I see it.
Oh, wait, yeah. Go ahead and add it to the stage. There we go. All right, give me just a second.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. How well can you see this? I can zoom in if you need me to. Do you need me to zoom in?
Yeah, you can zoom in a little bit more.
Can you see?
Just so we can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can see those.
Zoom in a bit. Yeah.
I can zoom in more.
So what are we looking
look
at?
at this. Like, look.
Yeah, I see that. It looks like a computer chip.
Yeah, this is Veracocha.
Wow.
These are the Google processing chips.
Wow. Look at that.
Look right here. Can you see my cursor?
It's kind of tiny.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, now I see it.
Thank you. That's all I want. I will give you the screen back now.
Okay, that's pretty awesome.
Oh, how do I do this? Stop sharing. I got it.
Looks like a little
There you
Lego
go.
man. Okay, perfect. It's like a Lego man.
How long do you think that thing has been there for?
Ooh, thousands of years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that door's just sitting there going to nowhere.
Mhm.
Wow.
Well, in this dimension it is, but
Yeah.
when properly activated and you're properly in tune with it, who knows where that's going to open up to. It's really cool.
Are
It's
either
like the
of you
stairs.
familiar with this?
Okay.
Are either of you familiar with the story of the sun disk? Some food.
No,
Are
you
you
tell
guys
it.
familiar with the story of the sun disk that supposedly fits in that slot in that door in Peru where Jerry Wills went through?
No, tell us the story.
I heard about
I
Jerry Wells
don't
when
know.
he did
I don't know the story that well. From my understanding, there's a sun disk, and whoever had it was being chased or hunted, and they were able to use that sun disk to open the door. Now this current story I'm about to tell, this is a second story. You need to go. Hey, can you get her out of here? Out. Out. No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
She loves
Trixie.
when I do that. Go on, Trixie. Out. She's sitting here barking. Sorry. It's gonna be a little loud.
So
Nothing
WolfDragon, just mute yourself for a little bit because there's quite a bit of feedback coming in.
She has an attitude. No, she just does that. She's not even being touched, and she does that. I'm sorry. If not, she'll sit here and she'll scratch me to the point like my skin will bleed. She'll scratch me so hard, or she'll bark. So I apologize for the distraction. My apologies. She's abusing us, really. So my point is this. Here's the second story. Jerry Wills, who was on the Kevin Smith podcast, who, my understanding, Kevin Smith kind of predates Art Bell, but he was like an Art Bell, and I really enjoyed his work. And you can actually still go and find it, the Kevin Smith show. It's still archived out there on the interwebs. But his name is like Jerry Wills. And Jerry Wills, the actual first time he ever came on, it is like the best story I've ever heard. Okay. And he's like a real life Indiana Jones. Excuse me. He tells this whole amazing story. And then right at the end, he starts talking about the story I'm now about to tell you. And that's, he had been like in the Amazon, or he had met a shaman, and the shaman had shared with him some very specific tones that he could make audibly. And he ended up at this door, the same door where I'm talking about, where this like myth about the sun disk is at. And he like kneels down in the door. He puts his head up against it. And he does these tones, and he disappears. And his wife is there. His wife is there. The person, the homegrown guy that took him there, the other people are part of the tour. They're all there. There's other people there. They see him disappear. They said he turns into like a little Twilight, and they saw him like, like Star Trek, like beam me up, Scotty, right? And he's gone. And he talks about how he's like going through this is what I picture happens when you die. He's talking about like he's going through the cosmos, and he's seeing like nebula, and he's seeing like all these stars. And then he ends up in this room. And the room, I believe, is like all white. And they talk about this like weird, like, I don't even know what you would call it. It's been a long time since I've heard the story, so you have to forgive me, okay? He talks about he's like in this room with like this mirror, and it's like some kind of like a cradle or whatever. And he's talking to somebody, but he never sees them. And he's like, where am I? And they say, well, you're in the cradle of creation. And he starts panicking. He starts panicking because he's like, he doesn't know how long he's been gone for. He doesn't know if he's ever going to go home and see his wife again. And basically what the voice tells him is that he's like, I don't know how to get out of here. And they're like, well, we don't really know how to get you out of here either, right? And it's like, he can't even physically see these beings, right? He's talking to them audibly, and he can hear them. I believe that's how he made it sound. He didn't, if it was telepathic, I don't recall him saying that at least. Okay, but they're communicating. Him and the voice from beyond the grave. And he is told, you need to put all of your intention on your wife. So he does. He puts his intention on his wife, and he goes back, right? He's going back. He goes the complete same like trip, but reverse. Now, when he arrives back in Peru, he ends up on the side of the door, like as if though he had been on the inside of the rock structure. Okay. He doesn't come back on the side where he left. He comes back like he's on the other side of the door, and he can see through the slit and stuff, and he can see everybody kind of out there. And he's like, okay, good. Like 10,000 years didn't go by. But if I remember correctly, and you guys, like, I'm pulling this story from like 10 years ago almost, all right? I really should have refreshed myself. But anyways, it's still out there if you want to listen to it. And it's fascinating. He
So
talks
there's
about
a comment from TKB saying the sun disk you seek is at Göbekli Tepe in a life-lasting container. Did you see that comment?
We'll talk about, no, I didn't see it. Hold on just 1 second, because I do want to talk about Göbekli Tepe. He talks about when he comes back and he's on the inside of the structure and he can see through the slit, that he's in a room full of like, man, what are they called? They call them these like, they found all these statues of like these soldiers that I think they're from like China. He's in a room with like all these like statues of soldiers, and like the whole room is filled up. And he basically had to do the tones. He does the tones and he comes back on the other side of the door. We can definitely talk about Göbekli Tepe. I just want to give you two a moment to chime in.
Yeah, it was like the terracotta soldiers over there in China.
Thank you. Yes, those. The terracotta soldiers. Terracotta. I always say it backwards. Okay, Anchorhaven, before we go into Göbekli Tepe, do you want to say anything?
No, I'm good. You carry on. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Keep going.
I continue on. Terracotta. It's fine till I got to soldiers. Okay, so Göbekli Tepe, right? Göbekli Tepe is like freaking fascinating. And you know, recently they came out and they started talking about, oh, there was child sacrifice going on there and they're fighting all this stuff. But you know what? I went back and listened to a Damon T. Barry podcast that he did on Fade to Black with Jimmy Church. I just listened to this like in the last couple of weeks. He thinks Stonehenge, he thinks Göbekli Tepe are arcs, that they are genetic arcs for like DNA. And I think that that's very plausible, that if they are finding, you know, they always like perverse and invert everything. They're like, oh, they're sacrificing there. And we're like, no, we know that's you people, the ones controlling the narrative, right? Whoever it was that created this place at Göbekli Tepe went to extraordinary care to make sure that it was hidden and preserved, like they knew something was coming. Like, oh, I don't know, a reset. I'll tell you what's really interesting, because you know my birthday's 3/4, right? So I have this thing about 3/3/4, 4/4, right? There's like, I think it's like pillar 34 that's there at Göbekli Tepe. It's one of the ones that has like, you know, the bag, the one, the Anunnaki or the Sumerian, like you always see the imagery of them, and they've got like, I don't know, the holy handbag or whatever. They've always got that bag. And Graham Hancock talks about this bag like it's almost like a symbol of somebody that has some kind of authority or some kind of ability that is more than just what the rest of us being humanity have, right? Like these are some kind of wisdom bringers, that there's been some kind of reset, that they have this knowledge bringer that comes, you know, and they always are what? Teaching how to reseed humanity, how to the agriculture. And we know in Göbekli Tepe, especially with I think it's like the type of crops they found there. They found one of the oldest types of seeds in the grass there than compared to the rest of the earth. So it's like, what is, maybe this is almost like a Eden, or almost like a ground zero for maybe one of the restarted versions of Earth that we're on. That's all I wanted to say, Anchorhaven. You've got the floor.
Sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. Yeah.
Well, it's really interesting too. You know, they've put that tarp up over it so you can't see it from Google Earth, right? But in the meantime, the Sphinx and the Giza Plateau are just sitting out willy-nilly, no cap or anything on top of it, just being beat to death by the elements. But everywhere else, every other megalithic site, what do they have there? They don't have a Zahi Hawass, that's for first of all, okay? All right. They have somebody there that's like the taker, like they're highly educated, but not only that, like they're doing everything they can to preserve the antiquity of the site, that it's not being degraded or eroded, right? And they won't even put an umbrella up over the Sphinx.
Yeah. But they're putting loads of fences around it now, aren't they?
Oh, so, yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, of course. That's because somebody crawled down in there, and all of a sudden they realized if you go in the back end of the Sphinx, you get down in the tunnel. And I think that's why they keep talking about like what's underneath the Giza Plateau too, right? All of a sudden, after years and years and years where no one could get any information out of Egypt, right? Like Zahi Hawass and his gatekeeping ass, Zahi Hawass, this is for you, okay? All of a sudden, they're just going to open the floodgates and tell us what the fuck is going on in Egypt. I think maybe there's a little bit of truth and a whole lot of bullshit.
Yeah, I know Miles Johnson on his Basis TV channel that he's going to be doing a live mini conference kind of thing talking about Egypt next month in Glastonbury. So that'll go onto the Basis channel soon. Yeah.
How many times have you been to Glastonbury this year, Anchorhaven?
Only once this year.
Oh,
I've
she
only
gets to go
been
to the
3 times
coolest
ever.
places. She gets to, like, she doesn't go there on Google Earth. She goes
But
there on a bus.
I don't recommend going there when you're in a wheelchair.
Oh.
You can't walk. Definitely don't go to Glastonbury then. And I go to Glastonbury Town, not Glastonbury Festival, just to put that out there for everybody. I go there for priestess training. Yeah.
I told you I would have given you piggyback rides all weekend, okay?
If you, no, my friends did great because I've got some really strong friends, so they did really well pushing me around. But Glastonbury Town is not designed for anybody who's not able-bodied.
There's still hope for my catapult. I'm telling you. I think this is really going to be groundbreaking.
Although the Avalon Center did have a stair lift, so I'll give them that one place. And luckily, the Goddess Conference people changed our event the night before to make sure that I could actually get upstairs to the hall. So yeah, how to get any better than that? It was perfect. But so Entertainment Extreme Network saying he's been having random dreams about UFO these days. Random dreams. Yeah, we were talking about dreams a little bit earlier. I've been having some really crazy dreams, but I can't remember them fully, and I'm not great at writing them down or anything.
I'm not good at dream journaling either.
Yeah.
I do want to comment on Jason here. Jason talks about the Sphinx having a makeover. I don't know if you guys are aware or not. Like, the Sphinx also represents a cobra. And if you look at, I think it's like triangulum, or maybe it is Leo. Leo actually wasn't always a lion. It's actually like a pyramid with a serpent coming out of it. They talk about it in The Knowledge of the Forever Time. And Damon T. Berry just goes on and on and on. That pyramids are only created for one reason. They are stargates. Yes, they are multi-purposeful or multi-dimensional, but they are always created as a stargate so that we can leave. And they are everywhere, all over the earth.
Yeah.
Did you want to talk about 3I, whatever the fuck it is, Atlas, Anchorhaven, while we're here today at some point?
You can talk about it.
Well, why don't we let Mike start with his ideas on it,
okay.
and then I think I've talked enough. I'm gonna let you guys go, and then I'll.
I'm not drawn to it at all. I did have an experience with it today, but you guys, started off. Go on.
You go ahead.
Well,
you go first.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't focused on it too much, but I know that before they focused on 3i Atlas, there was another one before it, and then 3i Atlas came in after it. And 3i Atlas is traveling at a very specific speed. It's so obvious that it is a vehicle, but it's a gigantic vehicle. And and it's changing, the aura around it. I like to say it's changing shape because it's probably changing direction. It's changing its attitude. A lot of times we hear about these vessels that are conscious, but then the being that is in the side can direct the vessel because they're both now communicating just telepathically. And telepathically go left, go right, do this, do that, and the vessel does it. So this giant thing is sort of like that, but it's not being done by one being, but by who knows, maybe millions at a time, like a how do you say, when they're all work together, a social memory complex. It's sort of like that. Like they're all one mind thinking the same thing and making this really huge event happen. So it's sort of like that, because there's no way you're going to move what was it, like 28 miles across. I mean, this is like, you're going from your house to, your uncle's house that lives, 60 miles away or something. It's sort of like that. So yeah, you're going to need an enormous amount of energy, but it's not what we think of as powering a vehicle. It's not engines. It's not, all these moving parts and all of that. I think maybe some of it, I think some of the 3i Atlas might be, it might have something like that, just for whatever purpose that serves. But in order to move something that big, you most definitely, there's nothing more powerful than the consciousness. And when you have 10 million beings, let's say, just for example, I don't know how many are in there, but let's say there's 10 million, right? And they're all thinking the same exact thing at the same time with the same intention. Yeah, they're going to be able to move this giant thing like that. However fast they want, however slow they want to turn it. Yeah, they could definitely do it. I mean, this is possible even for us. If we want to stop something, imagine even just 1,000 people with the same intention, the same focus. Yeah, they're going to make stuff happen for sure. So these vehicles, and what purpose do they have for coming into this galaxy? Are they just passing by, or are they, is there some other purpose? That's the real question. I always think if you're passing by, you're actually passing by for some reason. You're not just going to pass by and say, "Hey, there goes Earth."
You're really
It's
right.
definitely, yeah, they're definitely passing by for a reason. But the reasons that they have, are not necessarily in this dimension. Because there are so many, and we don't know who it is that they're communicating with as they pass each star or each planet. We don't know in what dimension and what level of consciousness they are communicating there, or who knows what they're doing, what they're taking, what they're leaving. It's so many things. So I always find that very interesting, because nothing happens just because. It's not just there passing by just because.
Yeah, I did have an experience with it today, and I've not really paid any attention to it at all because it just doesn't draw my attention. But today I was doing access consciousness training. I was doing an access body process, so I was receiving, and I was getting a bit uncomfortable in my body, so I started to expand out my consciousness to the size of the universe. And I thought, well, while I'm out here, I might as well have a look and see what this thing is. And I kind of looked down and saw it, and I thought, I don't think you're meant to be here. And I just kind of flicked it, but there was 3 other ships there that came into awareness. So it's not by itself. Yeah.
Right.
So I just kind of flicked them out the way.
Wow.
If there's anything on the
put in the chat. Did
Yeah.
you see what TKB put in the
Yeah,
chat?
there's some great comments there.
Could we put that up on the screen for just a second?
Let me see. How do I do that?
Yeah, you just hover. All right, take your mouse, and there you go. You're such a good button clicker.
I'm on my phone. Like,
oh, you are?
Okay.
No, that's why we look. Okay. Do you have your phone set on?
Yeah.
But do you have auto rotate turned on? Is that a little better?
So this is rotated, but you guys still look the same. I don't know.
You don't have a little you don't have an expander square?
Let me change the layout.
Yeah, there you go.
Is that better?
That's amazing.
Okay. Sorry, it's quite hard.
Mike's next to me now. Hi, Mike.
So TKB says that Atlas is locked in on a smaller ET craft, which is kind of what I saw when I was out there. No interest in contacting Earth. It's passing through, just in galactic stuff and the issues between Mars and Venus. Martians want their planet back, yeah, which is totally true. So galactic war stuff. And Jason says added attention to space objects is going on. There's going to be a push for asteroid redirection projects for weapons in space. Wasn't there an article about a young kid who identified like 100,000 space objects recently or something like that?
I didn't know that, but that's interesting because Damon T. Barry also made a documentary like called Alien Contact 2016. And he actually shows that when these ships pop into our dimension, that they actually come and the first thing they do is they position themselves. Usually the most common captured image is them positioned like Orion, but that they are actually positioning themselves like constellations to communicate to us where they came from and what direction they came from when approaching the Earth. And he talks about this nebula, like an AI swarm nebula, not AI, sorry, UFO swarm nebula, where literally he has a picture with like thousands of these UFO crafts, and he lines it up perfect. And I forget which constellation it is, but I mean, it's insanely perfect, the overlay. So he said that the universal language is star language. It's stars.
I nearly put a comment on them that said Jason is the.
I said Jason's the wiener.
Yeah,
Winner, chicken dinner. He's the wiener. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Like, my comments are like so tiny on my phone now.
Oh.
So, yeah. It's really funny.
We may see more moon crafts as they jump like fleas if the Martians come by. So you know what, Phil Barrow, man, I haven't seen you do a show with Phil Barrow in so long.
No,
wouldn't it be so interesting for the four of us to do a show?
Yeah, probably.
That would be fascinating. Maybe you should tell him who. Maybe you should give WolfDragon the 10-second introduction about Phil Barrow.
Phil Barrow is the wizard from Manchester. Yeah, he is an Emerald Order healer. He's a walk-in. He's pretty awesome. I've done a couple of videos with him. Yeah.
Oh, very nice. I got to catch those.
Yeah, he
does. He comes on Rob's show, and Anchorhaven and him do shows together.
We did one, and we did a couple.
No, you did 3 or 4 of them on Typical Skeptic.
No, we only did one with me and the wizard.
Anchorhaven, I've been to 2 shows at least.
Did I? Pretty sure we only did. Maybe we did 2. I don't know, but I've done 2 with him on my channel at least.
That's 4 shows.
Okay. Well, yeah, I've not got any plans to do any more with him, unless he wanted to. Yeah.
I think that we should maybe do some cards.
Okay. So, Entertainment Extreme Network, if you're still here, wanted a card. I was going to do Dragon cards since we've got WolfDragon here.
Ooh, very nice.
Card literally just jumped out when I was talking about WolfDragon, and it's a crystal yellow dragon.
Ooh,
his dragon is gold and green.
Yeah, this one says opens you to higher learning and wisdom, expand your crown chakra for illumination, walk the higher spiritual path. So that's for WolfDragon. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see the card.
I just put it away.
Okay, well, you went too fast for me.
Sorry.
It's beautiful.
The Venus
Tomorrow
people
my
better
shapes
get
and
it
colors.
together. See that comment from TKB? The Venus people better get it together. If they have it together, then maybe war and not. Matt wants the Martians to win. Well, me and Michelle both have aspects of us that are on Venus right now. Well, we're in Venus or we're on Venus ships. But I know there's something going on with Valiant Thor because he is no longer working with Christopher Jacobs, because when they do the calling in benevolence with no conflicting agendas, Valiant Thor had a conflicting agenda.
Wow.
That's all we can say.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So
well, I don't like to mention names, but there's a certain woman in the community that she talks about having experiences where she leaves here and she's with Valiant Thor.
Yeah.
She also talks about being with Enlil and going to the Galactic Federation. So I'm not going to mention her name.
Okay.
I don't really have. I used to really like this individual, but I feel like she's been hijacked and has a hive mind now.
Yeah, I believe so. See, Valiant Thor confirmed that me and him have had a connection. So when I've been doing research into him, there's been that telepathic connection, which is awesome. But it's not like I talk to him all the time. Now, I picked a card for Entertainment Extreme Network because they were the first person to ask if we were doing starseed readings, which we're not, but this card will tie in. Okay, and it's the blue dragon from the Pleiades. So this is for EEN.
Oh, hey,
person to accept source healing, accept a heart activation, and get give and receive heart healing. So this is the card for Entertainment Extreme Network.
Beautiful.
So it's Palladian healing coming in for you. Yeah, so you can literally just call on this blue dragon and just say their name, blue dragon from the Pleiades. Please be with me. Please allow me to receive this heart healing. Yep. So that's for EEN. Wow. Okay. Because I said to them, no, we're not doing cards today because we're talking, but me and Michelle will do card readings early next week. But if anybody does want a card, a dragon, please pop it in the chat. And I'm just going to pull a card for Michelle. Yeah.
And a card.
So here's a card for Earthgrid. Please
That's
can I have the
me.
most aligned card? Thank you. Oh, you got Omega Dragon.
Ooh,
That was my
beautiful.
duck's name, Omega.
So it says, harness the divine feminine power of creation, which is you totally. Intention, hold your vision, birth the higher consciousness. So it's really time to just focus on what you clearly want, crystal clear. What do you want?
Wow, that's beautiful.
Okay.
And it has the same tan that I have.
Mm.
Thanks,
So
guys.
TKB is saying Venus people are cool, but the politics is the issue. Mars should get their planet back to balance things. The problem with Mars is there's too much like secret operations
Too many
going on, I
men.
think. Yeah. And then you've
Not
got the
enough
ant
women.
beings, and you've got the mantis beings, and you've got the gigantic spiders that are as big as houses, and Mars is a creepy place.
What do you guys
Okay.
think? Have you ever heard how Mars and Earth used to be in opposite positions? It used to be Mercury, Venus, Mars, Earth, and that Venus and Earth are a perfect 180 degrees of each other. They're the perfect opposites.
I've not heard that. That's
Well,
awesome.
now you have. Anyone in the chat? Hi, Puck Elf. All the way from, is he Australia, right? Yeah,
He's
down
in
under.
Australia. Yeah.
Australia.
South Australia. I
It
think.
Foster's beer. That's all I know. Speak Australian.
Nobody drinks Foster's in Australia.
You know
It's
what?
like a
Some
big
of
style.
us don't have very high standards, okay?
Yeah, when the UK it was all about Foster's beer, then you get to Australia and like nobody's drinking Foster's beer.
I've
once
drank
you've thrown
Foster's
up
a
on
couple
Foster's,
times. I
you're not
do
drinking
not.
it
I'll
ever
tell you
again.
what. I used to love me some Newcastle. I used to
Mickey
love
Brown.
Newcastle.
Wow.
Yeah, my favorite was actually this IPA, and it used to be called, they went out of business, but they were in San Diego of all places, and they were called West Coast IPA, and they were so expensive in Oklahoma. It was like literally $2 a beer at the liquor store, right? Like it was so
Wow.
expensive. Yeah, and then when
$2
they
is expensive. That sounds super cheap.
this is like 15. This is like 12 years
WolfDragon,
ago. No,
so
for a
much
six
feedback
pack.
coming
No,
on
for a
your-
6 pack, it was like $16 or $17 for a 6 pack.
Yeah.
But something happened where Oklahoma. So when I first moved to Oklahoma, you had to go to a liquor store, and they only sold 3.2% alcohol to the beer by volume, right?
Yeah.
And then they passed a bunch of laws, and all of it. Like, I mean, in California, you can't go to Walmart without being able to buy liquor. Yeah, I didn't know what this. Yeah, like you can go anywhere in California. Now they've changed it, but when they changed it, they broke it up like where you had to get your alcohol through a vendor. And when that occurred, Oklahoma no longer was allowed to import IPA or alcohol or craft beers from certain jurisdictions. Like, so they couldn't get it from California anymore. But from what I understood, they shut it down. Yeah. But I used to love some West Coast IPA. But no, I was never a friend of Foster's.
I'm trying to get a comment on the screen, but it's so tiny. Like, it's hard to get it. So TKB had a good comment there.
Mars, Earth, Venus, and Mercury are supposed to be in duality with each other to bring back. That's what I'm talking about. Yes.
Yeah.
You know what? I mean, Renetta talked a little bit about this, but I would have to concur with her, especially with like my research, like especially for my Earth Grid Rescue Mission project. Like I have found satellites around Mars. I have the coordinates for them, and they have them pointed so strategically in such a way that basically they are pulling all the war energy off of Mars. They have it pointed at Earth, and they're pulling all of that, like Gaia energy, all that water and Earth energy that's like positive, that's conscious. They're trying to flip-flop so that Mars goes back to being a water planet.
I didn't even know Mars had been a water planet. That's awesome. That's really cool.
Well, they
I'm
talk
gonna...
about how the pictures that they find now all the time that they say are Mars, that there's people that actually on Google Earth have proved that in fact it's Earth. It's freaking Earth.
Insane. I'm gonna have to go soon, guys, because I've literally got an event in 7 hours. I'm going to, and I'm going to be trading for 2 days, doing card readings back to back, non-stop in Manchester. And
why don't we go for 8 more minutes? That way we can end on the hour.
Yeah, exactly.
That
Earth
sounds
was a
good.
water planet
8 minutes.
for a long time. Earth still is a water planet. I still consider Earth to be a water planet. You know?
Oh, I think we're heavily a water planet. Did you guys ever see that documentary that they had on the Discovery Channel about the mermaids? You did? You did see it, WolfDragon?
No.
Yeah, I saw a couple of them. They were all very interesting.
Yeah, that's correct. Yes, there was like a part 1 and a part 2, and it's fascinating because they talk about like this split off where there became like humans that stayed as mermaids and humans that became like land mermaids, right? Is that right? I think I'm remembering that correctly. But that's basically how they claim that we ended up with legs, was that this was always a water planet. And that over time, there came a time where they split. Like, I believe they say whales used to have legs. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. No, you're right, because they evolved, but in different directions. Yeah. And I heard that about the whales, too, but that was like, who knows how long ago that was.
Yeah. Cool. Yes, that's correct. Yeah. Well, you know what's so interesting? Like, I watched this time lapse on the Cambria explosion. It's a time lapse where they take basically from where they believe the beginning of the Big Bang was up to present day, and they play it all in 2 minutes. And like the Cambria explosion, which is where like I believe 90% of like most of the creatures that I'm not wording this correctly, but literally if you take all of evolution, right, or all of history from like the Big Bang till now, where 90% of the animal life suddenly appeared, it's in like a freaking blink of an eye compared to the rest. I mean, it's fascinating, right? And I have this theory I've been working on. I think that I think all those animals were being brought and dumped here. Because like, I mean, like, look at things like the octopus. I mean, my favorite quote is, you know, God has a sense of humor. Look at the platypus.
Yeah, really.
No, but really though, look at like especially like octopus are so intelligent. We've had a lot of talks about octopi or octopus here, but
because when I was working with those angel animal cards, and it tells you what kind of planet they all come from, and so the guinea pig is from Venus. I remember that.
I used to have guinea pigs.
Yeah, that's the main one I
Duncan,
remember.
and
It's the only animal from Venus.
He was like a dog. My guinea pig was he would do voice commands. He was totally trained.
So if you pick an animal, I might be able to say where it's from.
You pick. You go first, WolfDragon.
Most of them come from Lacumae, which is an ascended aspect of Sirius. So like a llama comes from Lacumae. I know this.
Did you know that syphilis came? That humans ended up with syphilis because it came from llamas?
Oh wow!
Wow!
I'm serious. Google it.
Wow!
I swear to God.
Amazing information.
I didn't know until I ended up with syphilis, and that's how I found out. That llama never told me.
Here, a swan.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding about me. But no, really though, that humans ended up with syphilis because it originated in llamas. So you can make the leap.
Okay. Wow.
I mean, for real. Like that's copper, awesome. Not the main one. Green crystals, white crystals, maybe diamonds, rubies, yes, and others. I don't know what that means exactly.
Tigers originally came from Orion, according to Diana Cooper.
Oh, can we? What else do you have in there? What about horses?
Horses, let me check.
I really love you guys. I had a lot of fun tonight, just you know.
Yeah, horses also came from Lacumae, so the ascended aspect of Sirius.
What about dolphins?
Loads.
Dolphins.
Pretty sure dolphins came from Mintaka. Hold on.
But I thought there was more than one particular because I have heard that some of the Mintaka ones, I've heard that there's nefarious, like a fallen race, but I've also heard that there's like 3 places they originate from.
Yeah. So this is also saying Lakame, the Sirius ascended aspect. Unicorns. Unicorns. Well, unicorns
This
are
is
from
horse
the
in
cradle of
sign
Lyra.
language.
I know unicorns are from Lyra.
Really?
Yeah.
I've always loved unicorns.
Unicorn
Actually, I hope I'm not overstepping my boundaries, Mike, but would you mind maybe, since we just have 3 minutes left, would you maybe talk about Pegasus?
Oh yeah.
I don't know what. For me, oh boy, I remember when it first happened for me. I was with my mom. I was just a little kid, and I remember we went to New York City. And way back in the day on 42nd Street, both sides of the street were all just regular movie theaters. It wasn't anything crazy. There was like maybe one little tiny crazy thing here and there, but it was all regular movie theaters all the way across both sides of the street. And I remember it was like nothing to go to the movie theater. It was like $5 for the both of us, to go into a movie theater. And back then, they used the reels, so we could sit there and watch the movie twice if we wanted to. So then, the first time when Pegasus hit my consciousness, we went to go see the original Clash of the Titans.
I remember that.
And yeah, the original one, we saw it there.
Oh,
it was so cool. So then, when the scenes were coming up with Pegasus, it literally was like this wall. It went like this, and I was like, it was just the weirdest feeling, because I was just a kid, so I didn't really grasp the whole thing. But the feeling was, that's mine. I know who that is. It was the coolest thing ever. But then as I got older, and I kept thinking about that, and I kept drawing them, and I kept just back then there was no computers, there was nothing, there was no internet or anything, so I had to go to the library. I had to go to the library to to look up in these big books.
Is this when all they had was uphill walks to school in the snow?
Yeah, I mean, I did that literally. Yeah, for real. But but with the Pegasus, it was such a familiarity, and there's white and there's black, but it was it's just, as I got older, it will always be in my mind, always. How do you say? No one ever writing them. You know what I mean? It was just them. It was just me and them, or me and him or her. But it was never anyone writing them. Like in the movie. Because they are free. But man, they're powerful, and they're like so wise. Like the dragons. They have this awesome, just the way you describe it is they'll stand next to you, and they have this whole regal. That's this feeling you get by standing next to them. It's like, whoa, that's really awesome. Because it's it's just this beautiful being that's it has majesty. That's the feeling that you get next to it. It's this majesty, really, really cool. And when you can, with me anyway, it's always been about guidance, and overcoming. That's the communication that we have. It's the knowledge being given of guidance, and sometimes it's not always in words, but it's in a feeling of you can make it. It's very, very hard, but you can make it. So they're more like this awesome support, like the support system. But just being in the same space with one of them, it's just like really, really cool and beautiful. That's just been my experience. I want it to be more. I want to dive into it even more, so I can go even further.
Yeah.
I think
that
that's
sounds
so
cool.
interesting because I always had an obsession with Pegasus when I was a kid. And I just learned this from Unigriffin the other night that the black horse's name is Honora.
Mm.
I didn't know that. I didn't even know there was more than one Pegasus. So
There's a purple Pegasus that comes in when you work with the Violet Flame. And especially when we do Violet Flame with Palladian Crystal Healing, Tamiana, purple Pegasus keeps coming in. As much as for me, it's for others as well that we've worked with. Yeah.
that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
That's
Pretty
so
cool.
cool.
Mm.
Why didn't you tell me there was a purple one, WolfDragon?
That's probably a Violet Flame Guardian. That's what
I thought we were
say.
friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I personally haven't seen the purple one, but there's one like what's that color?
Mm.
The white and the black for sure, very cool. But there is one. It's like I don't know. It's
What's
a color I
it
can't
closest
describe.
to? What's the closest color to?
Like an iridescent blue,
Like a turquoise?
like a pearl, like a pearly blue, like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That sounds
Very
amazingly beautiful.
Mm.
Yeah. Very beautiful. That one is usually by water, but I'm sure that's what
It's a
I
water
have
horse.
seen. Yeah. So, like
So-
where I have seen it has been by water, but yeah, but I mean, I'm sure they go wherever they want, but that's been my experience with that one,
Yeah.
which is really
Awesome.
cool.
So
Well,
why
we're
don't
a
you
few
guys?
minutes over? So, Mike, don't hang up yet, okay? We're gonna
No,
let us
so
get
why
off
don't
the
you-
air real quick, okay?
Tell everybody about what you've got coming up this weekend because you've got a couple of shows. So
Do you want me to
recap.
explain, or do you want to tell WolfDragon?
Oh no, you could go ahead. You explain it more eloquently.
Okay. I want to start by saying thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for having us, Anchorhaven.
You're welcome.
I love everybody in the chat. I want to start by saying, like, I really love you guys so much. You know, when I'm having bad days, you guys
great
always make it
information in
better.
the chat. Yeah, so
So
cool.
I do want to say that I love you guys, and if it wasn't for the community, we wouldn't be able to do this. So first and foremost, thank you, and I love you all so much. So tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, we will be available through Patreon and Substack, and we are going to be doing a deep dive into. We started out a few weeks ago with the Cthulhu monster. But we're going even deeper into that, and we're going to be talking about some of the other creatures as well. And then tomorrow night we will also. So that's third eye roll 007. Such a mouthful. Third eye roll 007 on Patreon or Substack, and also Spotify. And then you can also find us tomorrow night on Typical Skeptic Podcast. We should be going live around 7 p.m. Eastern, and we should be on there for a few. It'll be a long show with Rob. It always is. So we should be on there till probably about 9 or 10 o'clock, but probably honestly till 10 o'clock at night. So, and WolfDragon's going to be really taking us into like his origin story. And so if you liked what you heard tonight, you definitely should tune in tomorrow and bring your questions with you. And you can find me at the Earth Grid Rescue Mission or Michelle Whitney 5604, or WolfDragon is available at WolfDragon007 on YouTube. But once again, it's a third eye roll, all letters 007, and that's Spotify, Patreon, Substack.
Yeah, brilliant. I've gotten hardly anything planned right now for October. So if anybody wants to be a guest on my show, please let me know. Because I have not planned hardly anything. I'm really bad. I'm doing a healing festival this weekend. I've got my Akashic group, which is a private group I do on Saturdays. And other than that, I don't think I've got anything at all coming up. Not planned anything at all. I'm actually promoting some local festivals at the moment, and which is the Rural Pathways Festival, and I've got the UK International Disclosure Conference that I'm helping to promote with Miles Johnston. So do check out basistv.org If you are in the UK for tickets for that, so that's the 12th to the 14th of December, and amazing speakers are coming from America and from Europe and from the UK. I'm not speaking. I might be on a panel if there's time for a panel, but I'm generally helping coordinate, which I'm excited because I'm actually a sound and lighting technician, so I'm happy to get in on that. So it's going to be really, really cool. But
I just want to say TKB to TKB, just up to you, WolfDragon, and we love us in Tennessee, Kentucky, Bigfoot around here. That's for sure.
We're definitely going to be doing a show with them soon. Once the energies are right, I'm really excited to do a show with them, and I've just had a werewolf experience as well, so I can't wait to talk about that. Not that I've got a lot of information, but I want to hear what they've experienced as those guys have had, so it's going to be brilliant. So yeah, please like the video, guys. And we will catch you. I'll probably be on Typical Skeptic next month, but I'm not too sure. Yeah, but I'll be excited.
We're gonna have to have Anchorhaven on for sure with us too.
Yeah, I'm kind of a little bit low at the moment. I'm almost finished healing my foot. I've got another 3 weeks in this air boot, and I'm restarting my in-person therapies and stuff like that soon. Because I need to make some money.
I'm so sorry about your foot. That's been, how long has it been since you had that surgery?
I had the surgery on the 8th of June. So I'm right towards the end of the process now. I can't walk fully without the air boot and crutches yet. But
man, that's rough.
No, I mean, there's a lot less pain now than there was before I had the surgery. Yeah, I was in a lot more pain before the operation than I am in now. So that's good. Yeah, so it was positive, really positive. Yeah, so will I get the left foot done? Probably not. We'll wait and see what happens.
So much fun the first time around, right?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we love you so much.
So thanks for joining us, everybody. Thank you for all your comments in the chat and all your wise words of wisdom. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you again soon. Take care.